Hi, this is Nikki Nellis with Foodie and the Beast, and as you can see, I am without my beast today, but instead I have Metrocurian's Amanda McClements, and we have such a terrific show for you today. Tell them about it.
We are going to be tasting Italian craft beers with ACQUA AL DUE and some delicious house-made cheeses with the chefs from Bourbon Steak.
Yum, I cannot wait. And Jeff TUNKS is in studio. He's brought pretzel rolls and root beer, and Melissa Clark just dropped a new book. She's going to tell us all about it. Stay tuned.
Planet Wine. It's like having your own wine cellar right in the heart of Del Rey. More than 700 bottles of domestic and imported wines offer something for every occasion and budget. For fine wines and more, there's a whole planet. Planet Wine in Del Rey.
We are going to start off with our ACQUA Al Due guys. We have Ralph and Chris. Come up to the mic and say your last name because I will butcher it no matter how hard I try.
It usually happens. It's Tomkowitz.
Tomkowitz. Well, thank you both for coming today. Now, you guys have ACQUA Al Due. It's over on Capitol Hill. You know, I've been there. I was just there a couple of weeks ago. Had such a fun time. But I know, Amanda, you haven't been yet.
I have not made it over. I know. I'm sorry. Well, tell me a little bit about what you guys do over there.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on the show. ACQUA Al Due has a rich history. It actually originated in Florence, Italy, and it's been in Florence since 1978. And my business partner, Ari Gadenson, and I both grew up here in D.C. And after high school, Ari moved to Italy to play professional soccer. After 5 years, of playing soccer, he had an idea to open an American diner. The diner is called...
But how'd you I know Ari's story, but how'd you wind up over in Italy?
So after I took the more traditional route. Went to undergrad and played soccer there. And my first job out of college, Ari called me on the phone. He said, "I'm opening this diner. Come help me out. I need you."
A diner in Florence.
I know.
Florence,
That sounds like
owned by soccer players. I like it.
It sounds like a really, just a bum job.
Yeah,
it just does.
Yeah, I mean, it was an opportunity I had to jump on. So I moved out to Florence, and we opened the diner together in 2005.
Excuse me a second. Andy, you're going to have to punch in with the Italian words because David isn't here to speak Italian. My husband lived in Florence for several years, and he speaks Italian.
And I can't sub in for him.
Oh, my God, no.
I can do French Italian. No, we'll try that.
So tell us quickly, how did you guys get in with the ACQUA Al Due guys?
So the diner was located right down the street from ACQUA Al Due, and we developed a great relationship with them. We respected each other, and it developed into a partnership where they're now running our American diner, and we moved back home in 2008 and subsequently opened ACQUA Al Due here in 2010.
Okay.
So Ari, for those 2 years, was working in the kitchen in Florence at ACQUA, and he now runs our kitchen, and we co-own the restaurant together.
Okay, well,
that's a really nice kind of personal story. I mean, sometimes when you hear of a restaurant coming from some far-flung place, you assume, oh, it's a chain, oh, they're franchising
corporate
across the country, but that's a really neat personal story.
It is. It's really nice.
It's been quite a journey for both of us, and we're thrilled to be back in our hometown.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear more about what you guys are doing at ACQUA Al Due and how it works in Florence and what you're preparing. Tell us more about what you're preparing here. But you did just launch an Italian beer program. Can we just quickly give us tell us what you're going to pour, but tell us why you're going to pour.
Absolutely. Our Italian beer, craft beer program now has 13 all-Italian craft beers on our list. Italian craft beer has kind of popped up out of nowhere over the past 5 years or so. Over 300, close to 400 microbrews in Italy.
Wow, that's sort of known for wine, but this is a new thing there.
So we're happy to bring these craft brews here.
Excellent. All right. Well, you're pouring. Let's bring in our first guest. Well, he's here. Jeff TUNKS. I can't believe, from Passion Food Hospitality, with all these restaurants that you have all around the city, that this is your first time.
Oh, I know it.
In studio with us. I thought you were in with us before.
No, sorry. My first time, but I'm glad to be here.
Oh, well, we like virgins. It's okay.
That's right. So do I.
That's for another show.
That's another show. Another segment. Late night radio.
Okay, so Passion Food Hospitality, Saba,
Acadiana.
DC Coast,
Passion Fish.
Yes. Yep, the now closed, unfortunately.
10 Pen,
Pen. Yes. We're so sorry, but you have just...
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
That's right. You got to prune sometimes to grow.
just launched your latest restaurant,
Right.
District Commons. So tell us. I mean, you've dabbled in you have seafood. You dabbled in Latin. You did Asian. What was the concept going into District Commons?
This is our third time with Boston Proper as our landlord. So we just have a great location in Washington Circle, and we thought, we want to expand our brand to that area, especially with the university being there and stuff. So we decided to do sort of an American tavern, focus on American craft beers. We have 20 on tap, and we have 99 bottles of beer on the wall that we feature American beer.
I've heard that somewhere before.
I know.
That's right. It's like a
Somebody
punch
should write
card.
a song.
Really, on the way to the Grand Canyon. But then we also decided it's such a big, long space, it's such a visible corner that we wanted to do, sort of bring another younger brand with our fast casual kiosk with Burger Tap and Shake. So we knew it was a very saturated, no pun intended, burger market here with Bobby Flay and BRG
Right.
and everything else. But we decided to really focus on doing everything in-house from scratch. So we're doing grass-fed Pineland beef that we grind fresh daily, homemade buns, homemade pickles, homemade sauerkraut, pickled jalapenos, French fries, ice cream for the milkshake program. So
I'm drooling now.
Right,
on the
I know.
microphone.
I know where we're going for lunch
Pre-lunch,
today.
pre-lunch.
Well, but let's talk about that. I mean, because you have this restaurant, District Commons, how many people does it sit?
probably around 200.
Okay, and then you have the burger place next
Right.
door. I don't mean this naively, but I am sort of curious. I mean, why make all the buns? Why make all the pickles? I mean, is it just that superior of a product?
I think so, yes. It really is, and it's a lot cheaper. Labor's higher, but I think people are really, it's like I said, it's very competitive, and I think that comes down to the taste. I mean, the buns are incredible. That's the big difference, I think. And of course, the quality of the beef, grinded fresh almost hourly. I mean, the vibrancy of the color and the way the taste, everything else is.
But you have a cool grind. Your grind, it's not just
No, we
chuck,
call it,
right?
Right. It's a blend of Pineland Farms, which is a co-op in the Mid-Atlantic area in the Northeast. It's a blend of chuck and brisket. So we're doing usually about 3 parts chuck and 1 part brisket.
Cool. All right, we have to take a quick break. But when we come back, I see root beer. And I want to hear about it. And that pretzel roll.
And a pretzel roll
know,
that
it's
looks
Right.
beckoning.
it's staring at
The
us.
homemade beer mustard butter that we serve it with.
Okay, we're going to pass it over during the break. This is Nikki Nellis with Amanda McClements, my new beast. We will be back in just a sec.
The phrase neighborhood restaurant means convenience, but not necessarily style or good taste. But in DC's West End, Circle Bistro, Noti Bianche, and Dish Plus Drinks take neighborhood dining to new levels. Circle Bistro offers contemporary French-inspired cuisine. Dish has new twists on American classics. And Noti Bianche is the perfect Italian trattoria. The Kennedy Center is just steps away, so pre- and post-theater dining is enjoyable and convenient. Dish, Noti Bianche, and Circle Bistro. There's good taste in the neighborhood.
Welcome back to Foodie and the Beast. This is Nikki Nellis. I have with me Amanda McClements. My beast is off and running. I don't know where he is, but lucky me. I get the great Metricurian.
You should call the pound.
I know, that's a good idea. No, you know what? Let somebody else adopt him. I'm okay with that. But we've been talking with Jeff TUNKS of Passion Food Hospitality. He just opened 2 new restaurants. He gave birth to twins, basically, at one time. District Commons, Burger Tap and Shake. Now, I see some root beer.
Yep.
And I want to know why you're making your own root beer.
Well, it's a proprietary bottle for us to do Old Dominion doing it for us. But in District Commons, we actually have this nice beer paddle that we do a beer flight, but I use the same glasses to do miniature root beer float, like a flight of root beer float.
Oh,
and then we
fun.
serve the same beer, the same root beer at BTS for a regular size root beer float, or just if you want root beer to go with your hamburger.
Right. Well, and Amanda
love
has
root
shown,
beer.
I know you do. Amanda has shown terrific restraint by not tearing into that pretzel roll.
Yeah, okay, let's
That is
that you brought
unbelievable
in.
willpower, yes.
So
Let's
talk
tackle
about
this.
the pretzel roll, and then I need you to give a big shout out and explain where your places are and how people can find you.
Okay, this is part of our bread service here. We actually do charge for it, but it's people are loving it. It's a traditional German-made
Thank
lye
you.
dripped pretzel roll, and then we're finishing off in our wood stone oven, and then just brush it with a little bit of butter, then the coarse pretzel salt, and then
the
we make a
smell.
homemade beer mustard, and traditional beer mustard, and then we whip that into
Right, beer mustard.
Thank you.
sweet butter, and then it's a great compliment. I tell you, it's, you sit down with our great beer program at This the Bar. We're actually going to be doing for our bar food, making sort of a homemade bratwurst po' boy using this.
That sounds terrible.
I've had James Stokowski's make it.
yeah,
He
no,
makes
thank
us a
you.
5-inch diameter bratwurst that we sell as a badge, or we call the bratwurst burger over at BTS. So I'm going to cut into a rectangle, and then homemade sauerkraut, the beer mustard itself, and a little bit of Swiss cheese on top. It's like a Barbara's po' boy almost with the
Wow.
pretzel
I would
bread.
be addicted to these. I would
love-
eat like a whole one every day.
And I love this mustard with the butter. It's like you don't have to choose between.
Right, the best
Right.
of both worlds.
Right,
You
one
know,
or
it
the
sort
other.
of tempers down the heat of the butter a little bit.
Yeah,
mustard
I've
and
never
stuff.
seen that
Yeah.
before. That's a really, really nice combination.
It is. It works really well.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, we're located at 2200 Pennsylvania. We're in the new complex where Whole Foods and
That
stuff
gorgeous,
is. They're right on the
gorgeous
circle. It's the
complex.
most visible restaurant in the city, I think. So, you know,
What a bad location.
I know, it's
I mean,
horrible
seriously.
right there with the metro and the hospital and the university and
college.
everything. You know, that's just horrible.
Well,
I think so. We're having a
thanks
good time with it, though.
Good. Well, we can't wait to come back in. Thanks
Well,
so much for
fantastic.
coming
I appreciate
in
it.
today.
Thanks for having us.
We're going to talk with Melissa. Melissa, are you on the phone?
I am.
Hi. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Nikki. Great to be here.
Well, so Melissa, normally my husband David is the Beast is on with me, but he is out today, so I have with me Amanda McClemens, and the two of us were going through your book yesterday on the phone and talking about it. And I actually have a girlfriend who lives in Park Slope, and I called her. I'm like, do you know Melissa Clark? Because if you don't, I think you should start stalking her and become friends with her. She has children your age. You need to find each other because I want to be friends with you. You sound
Oh, that's hilarious. You know what? Tell her to look for me at the farmer's market because I'm seriously there every Saturday.
I'm going to tell her to look for you.
That's where she can do her stalking.
Yeah, she's going to be
at the
stalking you.
farmer's
You'll
market.
see Karen stalking you. So, listen, you have over 30 books under your belt, which is so impressive given how young you are. Cook This Now, your new book. What was it that you were looking to do that you haven't done in your 30 previous cookbooks?
Well, most of those books were co-authored with chefs, and they were a great education for me. I mean, I learned so much working with David Boulay and Danielle Boulud and a lot of other, great culinary stars.
Boy, you really work with hacks. I don't know how you wound up. I mean, that must have been really tough for you.
It was this amazing tutorial. I mean, people always say, "Oh, did you go to cooking school?" And I say, "No, I was actually tutored by the best chefs in the world."
Not so bad.
One tutorials when I was
Not a
writing
bad
this
way to
book.
learn.
Which was really great. But what they weren't were my own recipes. And I have a column in the New York Times called A Good Appetite, where we do very home cook friendly, simple recipes, the stuff that I really crave, the stuff I make at home. But they're also, they're very specifically geared toward the times. And what I wanted to do in my latest book, Cook This Now, was give a reflection of how I really cook at home for myself, for my family. I have a husband and a 3-year-old daughter. I don't have a lot of time because, I work full-time, more than
Right.
full-time, as most people do these days, and I have a kid. And so the food that I cook is unfussy. It's extremely simple, but it's all very high flavor, very delicious, healthful, too, because, we try to eat more healthfully with whole grains. And it's seasonal because, as I just said, I love going to the farmer's market, and I love cooking the foods that are in season because they taste better. They're better for you. And I just thought, you know what, let's do it. Let me do a cookbook that shows what I really make. And I think a lot of people can relate to this kind of cooking, whole, nutritious, amazingly good food that doesn't take you a lot of time. Like, who wouldn't want that? And that was what Cook This Now is.
Well, and I'm a mother of 5 kids, so I can and I work
God.
full time,
Yeah.
so I can completely relate to you. But I think what I found really interesting in your dishes, first of all, I love the seasonality of it, and we were talking about that in studio earlier. I mean, more and more people are looking for grass-fed or, things in season, and your book lays it out so beautifully by doing recipes month by month. But I'll tell you what really caught my eye, and I cannot wait to make it. The mallow bars.
Oh, my God. So good, right? Okay, that's not a seasonal recipe. That's just a delicious recipe.
My father, grew up in Philadelphia. You said Malamars are seasonal, which I don't know about because they're in my parents' house 24/7. But I cannot wait to make it for
You
him.
can't get them in the summer. I thought you can only get them in the winter.
I don't know. Maybe he keeps a stash in the cellar.
You must stockpile the. Well, and the picture is beautiful. It's this lofty marshmallow bar that you make. And how did you come up with that recipe?
Well, I love Malamars, one of my favorite cookies. But, I wanted to do something. I like to make my own desserts. I like to make things a little more healthful. So I changed it around a little bit. In a regular Malamar, you've got a sugar cookie on the bottom. It's a spongy vanilla cookie with marshmallow and chocolate. And so I decided to do a graham cracker, a homemade graham cracker, because, first of all, I love homemade graham crackers. They're so good. And it has whole wheat flour. So, it's sort of like, if it has whole wheat flour, and then maybe I can eat 2.
The justifications we make.
Well, so very quickly, because I know you're in a rush, and we are going to have to take a break in a couple secs. Just tell everybody where they can find this book, and are you going to be doing a book tour with this?
I'm on book tour right now. I'll be coming to D.C. in early December.
Oh, when in December? Do you know?
You know what? Everyone can look on my website. It's melissaclark.net, and if you go to events, it'll be listed there. I think it's December 6th, but I'm not 100% sure. I should have known this. But
Really?
yeah, come and see me. Come and see me, and you can also buy my book. It's called Cook This Now, and you know, your local bookstore will have it. And you know, go support your local bookstore.
Absolutely. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for joining us this
thank
morning.
you,
It was
guys.
great having you, and the book is really wonderful. We love it, and
good.
we wish you the best of luck.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
have a great
Melissa.
Day, guys.
Thank you. So in studio with us, we have Adam Sobel and Brent Balika.
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 Almost,
Oh my
so
God, I
close.
was so close. Balika. I wasn't looking, and I thought I could just do it. The pastry chef. Both of you guys are from Michael Mina's Bourbon Steak down at the Four Seasons. Adam, have you been in before?
I haven't. First time here.
Oh my God, we are just filled with people who have never been in before. It's unbelievable. And I know, Brent, you haven't been in either. So let's just give everybody a quick 411 on both of you. Adam, tell us a little bit about your background, how you wound up here. Give us a quick one. Thank you.
Well, I'm originally from New York. I grew up working through some great restaurants in Manhattan, and then decided to head to the CIA. Went through culinary training there. And then I moved about the country. I was in Chicago, San Francisco, Atlanta, and then the last 8 years I was in Las Vegas. So
Sounds terrible.
Vegas, baby.
Unbelievable 8-year run in Vegas. And that's kind of where Brent and I connected.
Brent, you were in Vegas too?
Yes, I was.
How long were you in Vegas?
Almost 7 years.
7
On
years.
and off.
And you worked together in Vegas?
Yeah, well, we both worked at Charlie Chowder's previously, but not at the same time. So we opened up Bradley Ogden's in 2003, and Brent came out. He was a chef de partie, and
That seems to fit you.
at that time,
The party part.
yeah,
Chef de partie.
and things kind of evolved from
That's
there.
not what that means.
I know, but if you don't translate it, it sounds good.
It really it does fit him well.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
So
That's what they call them
we had
all
a
in
really
Vegas.
successful restaurant there. Bradley Ogden's won a James Beard Award for Best New Restaurant in America. And at that time, I was doing a dinner at the Beard House in New York, and I asked Brent if he could make me a fresh cheese for a cheese course I had to do. And he produced this cow's milk, like a ricotta salata, and I made a beet cannelloni with that. And that was the start of the reason why we're kind of here today about our cheese
beautiful
program.
A
relationship.
beautiful progression of
Yeah.
stinky cheeses.
Well,
and-
so did you two come to Bourbon Steak at the same time? You came first.
About a month apart. I came out here in January, and obviously there were some really big shoes to fill. Dave Varley did an
DV.
incredible job, and he's one of my best friends. And I was like, how am I going to come here, make an impact, do something different, take this restaurant to another level? And it really was a no-brainer. I thought about Brent's talents, what he can do with cheese, and how we can kind of change the restaurant scene.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about the rest of cheeses you have here. And of course, I want to hear more about what your fall menu is like right now at Bourbon Steak. And I think there's one more beer in my future.
More beer.
This is Nikki Nellis with Foodie and the Beast. And of course, Metric Curian, who's subbing in today for the Beast. We'll be back in just a sec.
Planet Wine in Del Rey is more than just 700 great wines. There's also a stellar selection of craft beers picked by Greg Engert, one of Food and Wine's favorite.
Welcome back to Foodie and the Beast. It is a party in the studio. We have all these gorgeous cheeses and some fantastic beer, the Scotch beer.
It's
is blowing me
incredible,
away.
smoky, and the cheese has disappeared almost
Quickly.
since the break.
Well, you know, it's closer to you, and I'm having a problem with that. I feel like David for a
sharing.
moment here.
I'm sharing.
You're good. You're doing a very nice job cutting it up. Guys from Bourbon Steak, Brent and Adam, tell us now what we can find on the menu for fall. And I want to get also a 411 on everything else here. But let's start it with the fall menu.
So fall menu has taken full effect. We just re-implemented our charcuterie program. So,
Where did it go?
well, it went away because we ran through everything. So I had to bring in another hog.
People
in
ate it
in
all.
August. So we brought a hog in, and we did like 12 different types of sausages, salumis, all kinds of cool stuff.
You guys have the space downstairs to.
We find it. We make
was
it
gonna
happen.
say.
Yeah, really. I mean, the
We've
cheese
got the
program,
hotel, so
charcuterie
we're,
program.
if we have
Right.
to take over a ballroom,
A suite,
we do
or
it.
Or that
maybe-
presidential suite.
Yeah, the presidential suite. Is that where you make the cheese in the Four Seasons presidential suite?
They gave me a
What does it
suite
go
to
for? Like
myself.
40,000 a night or something like that.
That's some expensive cheese.
Yes, it is.
Undisclosed. And then, so the charcuterie, that kind of coincides with the cheese. We've got, I mean, obviously the restaurant's known for its, large cuts of meat, but we're doing some really innovative, forward-thinking cuisine also. We've got a great glazed sweetbread and seared bay scallop dish we're doing with bacon marmalade and cauliflower. We're doing a Peking-style squab. We whole roast the squab in the style of Peking duck. Present it tableside, break that down,
Maybe
and do
we'll
that
go
with
there for
some
lunch.
Yeah, and lots of choices.
Singapore street noodle. I've got a great venison dish hitting the menu this weekend. White truffles get in today. We're actually going to make a white truffle camembert that will be ready after Thanksgiving,
Oh, wow.
which we do for the entire table. And I come and shave white truffles tableside.
So
and-
I
and
read
is
about
there-
that. That's an expensive little venture.
That is, but
I mean, worth it.
hey,
Right. If you got
And so
it.
is there white truffle in the camembert?
yes, yeah, there is.
Wow.
It's,
So it
it's
does
special.
everything, it must just be so fragrant.
It's super
It's
fragrant.
big, right?
It's really awesome. So we're looking forward to people indulging in that. The
Well,
menu's always evolving, though. I mean, we change dishes every 3 weeks or so.
Well, and I can just say as a regular diner, and I'm sure Amanda can back me up, even though it's bourbon steak, that's, to me, I never have, I don't think I've ever had steak at the restaurant. Maybe once I did when you first opened.
We have
But,
a lot of guests that say that, actually.
Yeah.
it's such a varied menu, and
It's so much more than that.
it is so much more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really an unfair title, name for your restaurant, because I do find personally in that field, if you go to a steakhouse, there's not a lot for women. It's steak, or they give you salmon, or they give you
That's very cliche, Nikki.
I know, with a fillet, which with a lady like the fillet,
The petite filet.
which really pisses me off.
Or I love when I order the steak and my husband orders the fish and they put the steak down in front of him. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right? I know.
Seriously? And he
is-
gets the pink cocktail and I get the beer.
Right.
And they put it in front of You've
There's
been
a
there.
lot of judgment going on. Right. But my point is that there's such a wide variety on the menu that it's not just steak, it is so much more. We are unfortunately going to have to wrap it up. You need to tell us everything we're looking at.
So we get in sheep's, cow, and goat's milk. Our sheep's milk comes from Border Springs, and our cow and goat's milk comes from Trickling Springs.
We've had Craig in
Yeah, Craig's an awesome
with the
guy.
staff. He's awesome.
Border Springs.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's from Southern Virginia, and then the cow and goat's milk come from Trickling Springs, which is just over the border in Pennsylvania. So on the plate, we have our sheep's milk robiola. That's with the olive tapenade and various herbs from our own garden out back.
But that was all.
She's like, I haven't cut into that.
And the next one was one you're all dying over, which is the triple cream.
Yeah, it's pretty much gone.
It's gone. And what is
then-
Amanda cutting into right
It
now?
was the triple
our,
cream.
That's
Right.
our robiola.
The robiola.
So
Oh, so she was right.
Yeah.
Chef, keep your hands away. And
My
just
bad.
one last one. This is
That is our polar bear. So it's a camembert in style. One of my nicknames is the polar bear.
I get
Okay.
it. Is it
So-
like ERT, polar bear?
yes,
Camembert.
exactly.
Yep, exactly.
I get
So-
Share the
jokes.
press release.
I get jokes.
And then the other one that's completely demolished is our morning goat, spelled MOURN. It's a soft ripened chev that has the addition of blue mold to it. So it's a little bit more piquant.
I have 1 minute left. First, I want to thank Amanda McClements for joining me yet again.
Thank you for having me.
Terrific show. And I want to thank all of our guests, Jeff TUNKS, Ralph and Chris from ACQUA Al Due, the guys from Bourbon Steak, Brent and Chef Adam Sobel. And of course, Amanda, thank you so much. Did I get everybody?
And Melissa Clark.
Thank you, Melissa Clark. We had a great show today. We have an even better one next week. Have a delicious week.